So Amazon have made some changes to their FBA fee structure in 2020, just released in the last couple of days. Today we're going to be breaking down what those changes are and every single FBA fee you need to be aware of when selling in the UK. Let's get started. Well, it might not be seen as a particularly enticing or exciting topic today when it comes to selling fees and the costs you need to pay, but in any business there are expenses that you're going to have to incur, and it's really important you understand what they are and how they impact your business. So hopefully today that will help, and if you do want to continually get these kind of tutorials that will help impact your business and grow a business that frees you up to live life on your terms, then consider subscribing by hitting the button below, because that's exactly what we talk about on this channel. So Amazon in the last day or two have sent out an email that details the increases in their fulfillment fees. And now, while some people might take this negatively, oh, Amazon increasing the prices again, Jeff's so greedy. Actually, this is an annual thing, and you need to get used to this as someone who sells on Amazon, because this type of change is not going away. Amazon, like any business in the world, is subject to inflation and the ebbs and flows of the economic world we live in, and so they are going to make some changes based on those sort of moving numbers. So every year they will do, around about this time, they will put out a piece of communication that says, hey, we're going to increase our prices a little bit on fulfillment. Usually it's only a few percentage points, and so it's nothing to worry about, but it is good to be aware of it so you can plan for it. So today what I thought I'd do at the same time is take you through a complete rundown of every Amazon fee you need to be considering, because particularly when selling in the UK, it's actually quite different to the rest of the world, particularly the US. There's a lot of focus, there's a lot of content on YouTube around about selling out on Amazon in the US. Now, when I got started selling in the UK, there wasn't a whole load of content about selling in the UK. So I listed my products, started selling, and I'm like, hold on, what are these fees that no one's talking about? Well, today we're going to talk about them. As you'll see in this video, there are more fees to consider, as most people would suggest, and also more than most tools would suggest. But if you want to access a profitability calculator for free that calculates all of these numbers for you, includes every aspect that I'm going to talk about today and doesn't leave anything out, calculates it both before VAT registration and after VAT registration, so you can project for the long term, make sure you stick around to the end of the video and I'll talk you through exactly how you can access that today. So let's look at this Amazon FBA UK fee breakdown, including some 2020 changes. Firstly, what are the fees you're going to have to pay when you're selling on Amazon? What kind of fees are you going to have to pay? There are four main types of fee. Number one is your subscription fee, the fee that you're going to have to pay Amazon each month to be able to sell on Amazon. Secondly is your referral fee. Thirdly is your fulfillment fee. And fourth is your storage fee. Let's go through these, break them down one by one. First of all, before we get to there, spoiler alert, VAT on fees. And now this is what a lot of, American-focused content doesn't teach you, is that actually Amazon in the UK or in any European marketplace that charges VAT, they will actually charge VAT on your fees because it's a service they're providing. They charge you 20% VAT in the UK, and they charge you various rates of VAT in Europe as well. Now, this isn't really communicated clearly on the front end. Amazon doesn't really display this very clearly in their fee structure. It's not really shown, not really talked about much. So it can be a bit of a surprise, bit of a sting if you think that you're paying a certain fee and then it's actually 20% more. You can wonder sort of where's that money going, and it can harm your product profit margins. So it's good to be aware of this, and that's something that we'll talk about and include in our calculations as we go. The good thing is that once you're VAT registered, you can actually claim some of this back. Now, I'm not an accredited accountant, but when we registered for VAT, what we were then able to do was go back and apply for up to 6 months worth of previously paid VAT and claim that back from the government, which means your first VAT return actually often results in HMRC giving you VAT back. So you're actually in credit on that VAT, which is a nice little bonus and offsets the painful experience of having to give them 20% of your revenue in future quarters. So there's a little something to consider there. Then also, when you get your VAT number from HMRC, you can put that into your Amazon seller account, and then you don't have to pay the VAT on those fees anymore. It kind of zero rates the VAT and means that they don't actually charge you the VAT, which is nice because they don't charge it to you, which means you don't have to go through the process of claiming it back. The only caveat to that is on your PPC fees, which is different to what we're talking about today, because that's advertising advertising fees as opposed to selling fees. Your PPC fees at the moment, Amazon are still charging VAT on those. So you will need to be aware of that, document that in your accounting and claim back for that. We use Link My Books and Xero as a accounting combination in order to do this really easy. And if you need more help with that, just let me know in the comment section below. Quickly before we move on, some people say, well, why don't I just register for VAT straight away so I don't have to pay these fees and I can claim back this money that I've already paid to Amazon? Well, obviously it's up to you what you do. Speak to accountants to get recommendations for what you want to do, but I would try and avoid registering for VAT until you have to, which is an £85,000 rolling 12-month threshold. Because when you do register for VAT, then you're going to be paying 20% of your sales revenue to HMRC, which is way more than the 20% on the fees because they're already a small amount of the revenue figure. So to me, it doesn't make a whole load of sense. Some people talk about how it helps cash flow early on, but yeah, it might help you now, but it's going to cost you down the line. So that would be my recommendation. But as I say, speak to an accountant for personalized recommendations. So first up is your subscription fee, and now there's two different tiers for this. You can use a basic tier, which is free. There's no monthly expense, but you are paying 75p for every unit you sell. But what I would recommend if you've got products in stock and you're selling is, of course, a professional account. Now you can start with a basic account, and then when you get stock into your account, you can upgrade it to a professional, because if you start with a professional account, you're going to be paying the £25 plus VAT per month charge for that every month. So even if you don't have money, even if you don't have stock in and you're not selling, you're still going to be paying for that. Now, when stock does arrive into your account, you can actually go to Amazon and say, hey, I haven't had stock in for the last 3 months, but I've paid this fee for each month, and they should refund it to you. That's what I recommend all of my students to do if they have been on that professional account. But sometimes Amazon can kind of push back on it. You do need to fight them a little bit at times, but I've never heard of someone not being able to do that. So it's up to you how much hassle you want, what you're willing to do. Either one, choose an option and go for it. Then that professional fee, obviously for what you get for that monthly fee, is you're not paying the per unit fee. Now, this works out to be the most effective option if you're selling at least 35 units a month, which if you're subscribed to this channel, I'm sure you are. So your second fee to consider is, of course, your referral fee. Now, this is the main fee that Amazon is charging you for introducing the buyer to you. It's just like a royalty charge for saying, hey, look, we've introduced the buyer to you. We've got our website, we bring traffic, we do advertising. Therefore, we're going to charge you a percentage of what you sell. And for most categories, this is 15% plus VAT of the final selling price. Few things to mention there. Of course, it's plus VAT, so don't just look at the 15% quoted by Amazon. There's an extra charge on there for VAT to consider. And then remember, it's on the final selling price. So if you see it inside your inventory account and you've got like the full price that isn't the discounted price you put, some people will sort of look at that and think, oh, Amazon are going to charge me £10 referral fee, but I'm discounting my price to £15. I'll never make any money. No, that's the sort of the estimated fee, but actually the 15% plus VAT referral fee is only charged on the final selling price, what you actually sell to the customer for. Then you do have some other categories that have different referral fees. Most of the categories that private label brands are going to be selling, pretty much all private label brands, it's going to be 15%, but there are a few exceptions. You've got categories like handmade is 12% referral fee. So if you're hand making your stuff, sending it into Amazon and you're selling it on Amazon, they're only going to charge you 12% plus VAT. Computers, if you're making your own computers, I don't know who would private label their own computers and sell them on bulk on Amazon, but hey, maybe that's your bag, and that only garners you a 7% plus VAT referral fee, which is quite good. And then one pretty random category that I've got no idea, I'm not sure I want to know what this is, but fluid transfer is a 12% referral fee. So anybody that wants to build a business around transfer of fluids, 12% is cheaper, so maybe that's an incentive. Anyway, those are some other categories. I'll give you a couple of links in the description as well, where you can do a bit more research yourselves on this. The minimum referral fee is 25p. So if you're doing some like crazy big discounts and you're selling, your product at like 50p a unit to try and get some crazy sales volume, then just note that you're going to have to pay the 25p per unit no matter what price you sell at. All right, next up is your fulfillment fee, and this is the fee that you pay for Amazon shipping, picking, packing, shipping, dealing with returns, all that kind of stuff. Is a per unit fee for the fulfillment of your product. And now this is where the prices have been updated just in the last couple of days. It won't come into effect until the beginning of April. So, it's not going to happen immediately, but these are the new prices. This is the new structure. So what you need to do is you need to calculate the size and weight of your product. And then also what a lot of people miss is they don't include the Amazon shipping weight. We'll look at what that is in a moment. But then, of course, again, you need to add VAT into that fulfillment fee. Okay, so there's 2 steps for calculating this fulfillment fee and understanding exactly what it's going to be both now and as of the 1st of April 2020. First one you want to do is come to the first link in the description. And this is going to be, you're going to need to sign into your Seller Central account. But then you can come down, at the top of the page, it's just kind of listing the different fees, but you can then come down to this table here where it says product types and size tiers. And you can actually, once you've got the measurements, once you know the measurements of your product, you can look across this table and work out which tier you're going to be in. For a lot of you, it's going to be standard parcel, but obviously there are other categories there to look at. And then you've got the maximum shipping weight. But the key thing here is to also note down the packaging weight, because you're going to have to add this on to the weight of your product. For instance, if your product is 300 grams and it's a standard parcel, then you're going to need to add on another 100 grams to calculate the fee, which we're going to look at in a minute. This packaging weight is actually because Amazon calculates the final FBA fee based on not just your product weight, but their packaging also, because they're going to add a box to it. They're going to add some, filler to it potentially. So it just really covers them to make sure that the packaging weight is included in their costs. So once you've figured it out, let's just say you're a standard parcel and your product is 300 grams, and then you're going to add this 100 grams to it. Then you come over to the second link in the description and you can look at the fulfillment fee table. This is a comparison between before and after April the 1st when these changes take place. So if we look at a standard parcel we were at and 400 grams was the total weight, right now you're going to be paying £2.14, but come 1st of April this year you're going to be paying £2.27. So a 13p increase there, which is around about 6%, maybe 7% increase. So not crazy amounts, but just enough to want to be aware of and to be able to adjust accordingly to make sure that you are fully aware of your numbers. And then the final thing to note with fulfillment fees is you can also fulfill from Amazon from your website. So if you've got a Shopify store for your brand and you actually get an order from that Shopify store, then you can set up an integration with Amazon so that you can fulfill that order with all the details through Amazon by using a multi-channel fulfillment order. Now that will cost you more than a standard FBA fee, usually around 50% more. So a fulfillment fee that's maybe £2.50 might become around £4. There is, you can check that obviously all out within Seller Central. There's a full breakdown of the fees for multi-channel fulfillment, just like there is for FBA. And, obviously that is a bit higher, but generally that still does work out a lot cheaper than when you combine the fact that you don't have to pay the referral fee to Amazon because you sold it on your website. So you save that 15% plus VAT. You pay a little bit more for fulfillment, but all in you should be up a little bit more. So well worth building out a diversified channel there, and it's going to help you grow your brand. Next up, of course, is the dreaded storage fees. Amazon, of course, are going to charge you for the privilege of having your stock in their warehouse. The first one to consider is the short-term storage fee, which gets a little bit complicated, but bear with me, is based on cubic feet per month. So in January to September, you're going to be paying 65p per cubic foot for a standard product or 45p per cubic foot for an oversized product. In October through December, Q4, they do increase their prices. And now the good thing is in the UK, they don't increase them anywhere near as violently as they do in the US. US, it just goes nuts. It's like 4 times the price in Q4, and it can be so painful with that. So, you have to really manage your stock well in the US. But in the UK, it does increase, but only by sort of around 50%. So a little bit kinder to us over here, rural Britannia. And so it goes up because what they're trying to do is because so many people send so much stock in for Christmas, they're trying to avoid it. The rules of supply and demand. They're trying to, decrease the motivation for people to send more stock in. So they charge higher prices. Their space is at a premium. So it's just one of those, business truths that it's going to take place. But that's what it is. Of course, again, you need to add VAT. So let's try and work this out to calculate it. You've got to multiply the length, width, width and height in centimeters to get the volume of your product, and then you divide that volume by that number there, cubic centimeters, which is the equivalent of 1 cubic foot. So an example, it's a unit measuring 47 by 12 by 10 divided by that number. It gives you 0.199 cubic feet. So per month, you're going to be paying like a fifth of that, so like 12p per month per unit for that product. So what you've got to consider is how quickly are you selling through these units? How quickly can you sell through the products in order to avoid these storage fees? So again, something to consider. Storage fees generally, if you're starting out, if you're starting with a relatively small product, it really shouldn't be that noticeable, but it does become a part of your scaling. It does become a part of the way you've got to think about how you do your numbers when you grow your business and grow your product line, grow your stock levels. And so, that's how to calculate it and keep on top of it. And then the other aspect of storage fees is your long-term storage fee. Now, hopefully, again, because you're watching this channel, you're getting all these good tips. You're selling well. You won't ever have to face this. But if you did, this is something that kicks in after 365 days of a product being in stock. And now this gets to an eye-watering £4.30 per cubic feet, so about 8 times the price of your short-term storage fee. And this isn't, this of course is plus VAT, like everything, but it is also in addition to regular storage fees. So you need to be aware of that this is something that is on top of the storage fee that you're already going to be paying. So make sure that if your product is going to get towards the 365 days of being in stock, you get that bad boy out of there quickly. What you can do is you can turn on automated removals for long-term storage fees within your settings in your Seller Central account. And then what you can obviously do is send that stock back in, but just be aware you can't send it in for at least 8 weeks of having removed it. So, if your product is taking 365 days to sell, maybe consider liquidating or selling another product, because that's a long time. What you need to be aiming for is products and stock that you can turn over in 1 to 2 months' time in order to be able to minimize all of these storage fees. So nothing to worry about if you do everything else in this business with your head switched on and make good decisions. This is just something to be aware of just in case you do come to this scenario. And so to finish up, I wanted to give you a bit of an example based on a few different products that we can run through these calculations for. So it might give you a bit of a frame of reference. We're going to look at an iPhone case, this iPhone 11 case here, and then we're going to look at this air diffuser that I've used as an example in other training before. We're going to look at the fees for that, and we're going to look at this chair here. This Songmix desk chair. Songmix are a huge brand on Amazon, by the way. If you want to sort of check them out, definitely worth a deep dive of research. But we're going to look at the fees for this beast too. Right, so let's take a look at some of these examples. You got your phone case, your air diffuser, your desk chair. You got your phone case is $11.99 selling price. You got your air diffuser at $19.99. I paid like over 20 quid for this. The Gits, the desk chair $129.99 at the moment today that I checked on Amazon, but I got it for $89.99. So I'm in the green there. So your referral fee on each of these is your 15%, obviously, which is calculated there, and then also your referral VAT. So as you can see, it's dependent on the price, so it just moves with the price. Your FBA fee is a static fee. It doesn't change based on the price. It just changes, as we've said, on the size and weight. Now your FBA fee for this phone case is only £1.48, so nice and cheap because it's like envelope size, and so it's really cheap and light. Then this one here, the air diffuser, £2.44, pretty standard. These are the new prices, by the way. I've looked at the new prices and put them in as of April. So this one's going to cost this brand £2.44 as of April instead of £2.30, but still that's a pretty standard FBA fee. And then the desk chair, because it's oversized, because it's about 20 kilos, it's going to cost you £10.81 per unit to ship this. Obviously, the good thing about this product is that it's got a high price. So, it means that they can absorb higher fees like this. And this is why potentially going after products like this is a good opportunity, because most people don't want high FBA fees. Most people are told choose something small and light. And so the whole volume of competition is going for small and light, when, hey, Songmix are building a rapidly growing, massive business out of these larger office items because nobody else really wants to do them. And they said, hey, you know what, we'll source these, we'll ship these, because if we charge higher prices, then we can absorb that amount. Obviously, you need more capital to be able to invest in higher cost products, but it's just an idea for you to sort of consider. And then, of course, you've got your VAT on your FBA fees as well. And then storage fee obviously greatly differs. This is going to take up hardly any room, and it's going to cost you next to nothing in storage fee. This a little bit more. 1 unit, if it's in stock for 1 month, it's going to cost you around 11p. So if it's in stock for a couple of months, it might cost you 20p. So I would tend to aim at sort of 2 to 3 months worth of storage just to be safe. And then your desk chair, this chunk here is going to cost you $3.97 per month to store it. So you really don't want to be having these in stock for 6 months in the Amazon warehouse, because that's going to eat into your margins big time. Your storage VAT, again, is VAT charge on your storage, which is negligible for the phone case. It's tiny for the air diffuser, and again, it grows for that desk chair. So if you look here, you've got your proceeds minus your fees. Now, before anyone writes me a letter of complaint and gets some hate mail, this is not your profit, because this doesn't include your PPC or your product cost, but just to give you an idea of how much is left just after Amazon fees. So phone case, $11.99, you got £8.04 left. Air diffuser, $19.99, you got £13.33 left. And your £129 desk chair, you got £88. So then you can obviously take this figure and know, hey, I got this much to play with for product costs and marketing, and then some profit left over. Hopefully those examples just help put it in context, so you can see that the referral fee doesn't really change, and it isn't really going to make too much of a difference no matter what price or size you're selling at. But the size of the product you're selling really is going to impact the FBA fee. So if you're going to be paying a higher FBA fee because it's large or heavier, then you need to make sure that you're going after a higher price bracket to be able to absorb that price. Now, if you want a quick way to calculate these fees on the go, then you either can use the Helium 10 Chrome extension, which is helpful. It doesn't include all of these fees, but it does include more than most Chrome extensions. But if you want the complete breakdown of all of this, every single category, every single bit of VAT, both before you register for VAT and also a comparison of your profit levels after you one day register for VAT, because it's good to plan ahead, then check out the link in the description below to the Brand Builder Bootcamp. With the Brand Builder Bootcamp, you get a few different tools. One of those is a profitability calculator that I've created for my students, and it contains every calculation you're going to need. Every calculation we've talked about in this video includes VAT, everything like that. So check out the link in the description below and you can access that. If you're worried about Amazon's pricing changes squeezing your margins, then consider watching this video here, as I talk about 6 ways that you can increase your profit margin over the long term of a product. If you've liked the video, let me know by hitting that thumbs up button. Any questions, let me know in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that too. All right, I'll see you soon.